It's me, MC of Healthy by George. I come to you every Friday and Sunday to talk about issues that help us stay healthier and functional into our older years. Think about subscribing. I would love to see you here every Friday and Sunday and join in the conversation so that we can encourage each other to do something every single day to support ourselves, to stay healthier, to create lifestyle habits that will help us stay functional into our older years. So, today is my update on Sundays of what's happening with my recovery from surgery and my journey on using the GLP GIP drug called Manjaro. So, during my surgeries, which unfortunately were extensive because going in for my hip surgery, I thought it would be go in, get your hip surgery, have some recovery, and then maybe this month of July, I would be back regaining my strength and getting back on track. And that's not what happened. Unexpected things happen, and I just am embracing that this was unexpected, and I'm going to learn more about my body and what's going on genetically with the thalassemia trait. If you haven't seen some of the episodes, I have a trait for thalassemia, which is a Mediterranean, it's generally people who from the Mediterranean regions can carry, and it's a trait for a type of blood anemia. You have misshapen hemoglobin, you have poor hemoglobin production, and if you have the condition, there can be problems and complications that are related to blood and healing and bleeding. So I had, even though I carried the trait, which unfortunately was never documented in my medical record, I've just known all along as a history that I knew from my family that I have this trait. But unfortunately, it's not something that the doctors can look at and go, yes, she's got this trait and this is her risk. So, because I never was diagnosed, but clearly, based on what happened with this surgery and all of the bleeding that happened, which was really unbelievable, and nobody really can tell me why, that this is unusual. And so it caused me to have to go back into surgery. First of all, I had to go into the ER once. They removed about 2 cups of blood then because it was oozing out of the incision. Then about 5 days later, I had to go back into the ER, and it was oozing a lot this time, really a lot. And the doctor and I discussed it, and he thought, let's go back into surgery. Let's get all this old blood out and then use plastic surgery to close the incision and put a drain so that this kind of draining of the old blood would not be a continued problem. So recovery, needless to say, has been a challenge, a real challenge. But I'm now facing this recovery now almost 3 weeks post my second surgery, which was to remove the blood that was there. They removed almost 3 cups of blood that was there. And I'm doing great, just working very slowly to get my energy back. And I discussed it with my other doctors about whether I should start my GLP-1 drug again. And so last Tuesday, I made the decision to restart taking that drug. And I've been afraid to get on the scale, to be honest with you, because while I've been under this kind of stress and condition and eating, I haven't been as meticulous about tracking my food no, that's not true. I track it, but I'm not keeping my calories in the 1,600 calorie range. And truthfully, that's where I know if between that and exercise, I will lose some weight. So the doctors really didn't want me to do that. They wanted me to have good nutrition and eat more calories than usual because they wanted me to have recovery. And you need that. You really do. You need nutrition to recover. So I was really just embracing eating whole foods, eating things more frequently than I normally do, and just paying attention to the numbers of calories. And sometimes it was 1,800, 1,900. And in some ways, this is challenging me as an emotional eater. I don't know how many of you are emotional eaters. I know for me, this is a challenge. And so tomorrow I will get on the scale, face where I am. I'm certain I probably have gone up some in weight. I'll talk to my endocrinologist this week. I'll talk to my surgeon this week. And I'm just going to embrace where I'm at. That's what we have to do. We have to embrace where we are, no matter what happens with our health. Embrace where we are, understand the reality of it, which is what I'm doing. I'm understanding the reality of it. I cannot move as much as I was. I'm working to get to 1,000 steps a day, and that's a big challenge. I'm working to get more strength and more endurance, which is a challenge. And it's getting better. It is. I have physical therapy 3 times a week, but boy, oh boy, is it slow. So I feel like tomorrow is a good time to go ahead, take a look at my weight, take my second dose of the Manjaro after coming off of it for quite some time, being in this surgery. I'm taking 7.5 milligrams injections, and the only mild side effect I have is a little bit of nausea, which I thought was really okay. So I'm a little nervous about getting on the scale again, but so what? I've come so far. I've lost a good bit of weight. I don't feel like suddenly I ballooned, although as an emotional eater, you feel that way. If you eat some too many potatoes or mashed potatoes, you suddenly feel like, oh gosh, I'm back to 50 pounds overweight. Those potatoes just blew up inside my body. So it is challenging, but I'm embracing it. I will be fine. It's just a number. And I'll just get back into the routine of weighing and measuring. But I'm not going to be so rigid because I still am in recovery. It's horrible when you're not able to move at all or very limited when you're recovering from surgery. And it's been very discouraging at times. Working to have strength that's equal on both sides, working to feel better with your balance, always having to either bring a walker with you or a rolly or a cane or something. Oh my gosh, it's frustrating. And so I'm working really hard with myself to find ways to de-stress, breathing exercises, visioning exercises, some self-hypnosis. I'm bringing out everything because truthfully, when we're discouraged, and I don't think I'm denying my feelings, I journal about it. I think I share with friends my discouragement. And I just know that I will get through this. I will take time. I will pay attention to how I feel every day. And if I feel tired after working for several hours, I will take a rest. If I feel like my ankle's bothering me, I'll elevate it. If I feel like I want to get some energy, I'll take a walk, a short walk. Today I did steps for the very first time and squats, which I thought was great. Yes, it was hard, but I'm able to make some progress, and I just know is go slow. And I'm hopeful that my surgeon will clear me for a little more exercise and physical therapy when I see him. And that my endocrinologist will give me some guidance when I see her about this transition back to the measuring and tracking and getting back on track. Because I would like to lose another 20 pounds because truthfully, I've been overweight all my life. And I don't know what the long-term risk is for that. I know that obesity is one of the largest risk factors for heart disease and cancer. And I'm doing everything I can to turn that, reverse it, and see how I can get my BMI to be lower, my amount of fat to muscle ratio to be improved. And my goal by the end of this year is to really see some of those targets, not overwhelmingly. I think I'm being reasonable with my goals, but to really see things moving in the right direction by the end of this year. So how are you working towards making your life feel better in your body, in your energy, in your thinking? I think we have to adopt habits that we do every single day, like depositing it into an investment account. If we want to have things that we can rely on as we get older, we have to put it in an investment account now. So that's what I'm working on, putting my investment in now. I feel I'm a little late to the game. This is true, but I think it's better late than never. Let's not throw in the towel just because it's something that we haven't paid attention to for a long time. Let's pick up where we are and just make a new direction for ourselves. I know that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm moving in a new direction to a healthier, functional, aging body as I move into my later years. So think about subscribing, my friends. I'd love to see you here every Friday and Sunday where we can talk and support one another as we get older to keep ourselves functioning and moving and mentally bright and thriving. That's really the truth because we have this one precious life. Let's live it with lots of intention. Bye-bye.
So thank you so much for joining me at Healthy by George. I hope you found the information inspiring and that it encourages you on your wellness journey. Because remember, your body, your well-being are a most precious gift, and every tiny action taken daily can make a huge difference. I hope the information here is educational purposes and is not meant to replace your medical care. See your doctor and talk about what works for you. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me continuing creating content that inspires and empowers you to live your best life. Goodbye for now, and join me again at the next Healthy by George.